Hey everybody, this is Mr. P coming to you with another e-learning lesson, and this is for Tuesday, May 19th, and we are continuing with volume. Remember, volume is the amount of three-dimensional space inside of the three-dimensional figure. Okay, so how much space? Remember, we're using cubic units here, just like our other volume units. So, like centimeters cubed, inches cubed, right? To the third power. So we're going to actually look at what we call rectangular prisms. So there are several different types of prisms, but we're going to focus on just one today, and that's a rectangular prism. Okay, so a prism is named by its bases. Okay, and we can see the rectangular prism has bases that are rectangles. Okay, so when we talk about finding the volume of a rectangular prism, our formula is length times width times height. So it's length times width, because that's basically the area of a rectangular base. So we can see the base is a rectangle. Okay, this is a base. We do length times width. And then here's the other base, right? So here's a base on the bottom, base on the top. The height is the distance between the bases. So we take the length of the base times the width of the base times the height of the prism, and the distance between the two bases. And we get the volume, the amount of three-dimensional space inside that figure. Okay, so basically think of a rectangular prism as basically a box. Okay, another example, I mean, this is also a rectangular prism. Okay, just a little different look on it. We can actually also have a base that's a square, and remember, a square is actually just a type of rectangle that has all sides are the same. So some of them might be a rectangle, some of them might be a square for a base. However, we still use the same formula. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at some examples here. Notice in number one, okay, I have the base, okay, which has, we'll call 6 the length, 5 the width. Of course, we've got the other base on top. 7 is the distance between the two, so that's the height. What's volume? Okay, it's length times width times height. So literally I'm taking 6 times 5 times 7, and I'm getting 210. It's going to be inches cubed, okay, for our units. Next one. Okay, I can see I have my base on the top, base on the bottom. Length of the base, call that the length. Would be 12 feet, width would be 11. Again, with the length and width, it really doesn't matter which is length, which is width. But it's important that we identify the height correctly, and that's the distance between the two bases. So the height would be 8 feet. So that's height. So again, all we do is volume equals length times width times height. So volume, again, we're going to do 12 times 11 times 8. And our volume is going to be 1,056, and that's going to be cubic feet. Okay. Next one. Again, this is still a rectangular prism, but notice that the bases are actually squares, right? The length and width are both 11, right? And length and width are the same on a square. So still use the same formula, just so happens that our length and width are the same, and we only have a height of 2 yards. So we have a really small height on that one. So our height is 2 yards. Again, the height is just the distance between the bases. So we go volume equals length times width times height. So we're going to go 11 times 2. And we're going to get a volume of 242 yards cubed, or cubic yards. One last one here. And let's notice our bases have a length of 11 and a width of 7, the top and the bottom. And our height is going to be 8. So let's just label everything. Here's height of 8. We'll call 11 the length, and we'll call 7 the width. And again, volume is just going to be length times width times height. So 11 times 7 times the height, which is 8, Okay, so we're looking at 616, and that's going to be miles cubed. Miles cubed. Okay, so that's the volume of a rectangular prism, okay? Basically a box. And the bases can either be rectangles or they can be squares. But regardless, we still do length times width times height. And remember to have units of, cube, right? Inches cubed, feet cubed, yards cubed, miles cubed. All right, so that's volume of rectangular prism. And you do have an assignment on Alex for this one, so it's e-learning 519, volume of rectangular prism. Tomorrow's e-learning we'll look at volume of a pyramid, a rectangular pyramid. Okay, so until then, see you guys later.